Brought to you by the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. Cardinals, Seahawks, 2,000 in the pool, 200 the first. Let's go get it. Let's go get the millie. We need money for the millie. We got to win in the trenches to get our money for the millie. Top 6 cards: Kenny Walker, DK Metcalf, Geno Smith, Kyler Murray, Tyler Lockett, Joshua Dobbs. With a $17,000 deficit, shall we do our thing here? Yes, I believe we shall. Arizona, Seattle. 2 wonderful stakes. Let's clear up a bit first. Walker rushed 19 times for 62 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's loss to the Bengals. He added 3 receptions for 27 yards. Walker had an excellent opening drive for Seattle, accounting for 34 total yards while also scoring a touchdown. He found running room more difficult to find after that, though his strong involvement as a receiver covered up for some of his inefficiency on the ground. Walker has now found the end zone in 4 consecutive games and has 6 total touchdowns across 5 contests. He should find more room to roam in a Week 7 matchup against Arizona and will look to record his first 100-yard rushing game of the season. He's quite good, isn't he? You're quite mad, you know. DK Metcalf is listed as questionable and viewed by Coach Pete Carroll as a game-time decision for Sunday's matchup with Arizona. Metcalf has been playing through a rib injury since Week 2, with practice restrictions never previously putting the game day availability in danger. The outlook is at least slightly different this time around, presumably because he added a hip injury during last week's loss to Cincinnati. He did rejoin the contest in short order, and his return to a limited practice Friday after sitting out Wednesday and Thursday sets up a game-time call ahead of the 4 p.m. kickoff. He'll face a vulnerable pass defense if he suits up, while an absence could mean more playing time for any and all the wide receivers Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jake Bobo, and tight ends Noah Fant, Will Dissly, and Colby Parkinson. Njigba is on the board. Jake Bobo is on the board. Noah Fant, Will Dissly, and Colby Parkinson are on the board. Geno Smith completed 27 of 41 passes for 323 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions in Sunday's loss to the Bengals. He added 4 rushes for 20 yards. Smith attempted exactly 41 passes for the second time this season. He averaged a solid 7.9 yards per attempt, and 5 of his completions went for more than 20 yards. However, his day was defined by 2 interceptions that changed the outcome of the game and prevented him from recording a touchdown for the first time this season. Lack of scores has become a trend for Smith, as despite throwing for over 295 yards in 3 of his 5 games, he has only 5 touchdowns on the campaign. Hot damn. Kyler Murray, limited practice participant throughout the week, has been ruled out for Sunday's game in Seattle. Coach Jonathan Gannon already told reporters that Joshua Dobbs would get at least one more start, even though Murray took some first-team reps in practice this week. The quarterback's return to practice Wednesday started a 21-day window in which he can be activated to the roster before defaulting back to injured reserve for the rest of the season. And the Cardinals haven't ruled out the possibility of Murray starting a Week 8 against the Ravens or Week 9 at the Browns. Joshua Dobbs is on board. Tyler Lockett doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday's game against Arizona. DK Metcalf, meanwhile, is listed as questionable with hip and rib injuries. Lockett doesn't have much room for snap route growth, but could project for a larger share of Seattle's targets in the event of a Metcalf absence. The Cardinals rank bottom 10 in a slew of pass defense stats and have injury issues in the secondary to boot. Pass defense stats. I mean, that brings up the D. So DK Metcalf is on the board. Cardinals defense is on the board, albeit loosely. Joshua Dobbs completed 21 of 41 passes, but 235 yards with no touchdowns and one interception, and rushed 7 times for 47 yards in the Cardinals' loss to the Rams on Sunday. He also lost a fumble. After completing at least 67% of his passes in each of the first 5 games of the season, Dobbs struggled with accuracy for the second straight contest following his season low 46% completion rate in Week 5 against the Bengals, and he saw his 2 game multi touchdown streak snapped in the process. On the brighter side, Dobbs did complete passes to 8 different players and placed the Cardinals on the ground with his fourth tally of more than 40 rushing yards in the last 5 games. The journeyman signal caller draws a more palatable matchup in a Week 7 road divisional clash versus the Seahawks. 8 different players. Joshua Dobbs. All right, to the bottom of the deck we go. Where it stops, nobody knows. Greg Dortch played 16 of the Cardinals, 76 snaps on offense, and failed to corral his lone target in Sunday's loss to the Rams. Dortch had stretches of relevance in deeper fantasy leagues in 2022 and finished with a 52 467 2 receiving line on 64 targets over 16 appearances. But he's been an afterthought in the Arizona passing attack thus far in 2023. Though he suited up for each of the Cardinals' first 6 games, Dortch has logged just 18 snaps on offense, and the target he drew Sunday was his first of the season. Dortch should continue to suit up on game days due to his duties as the team's top kick and punt returner, but expect his role on offense to remain minimal, while all of Marquise Brown, Michael Wilson, Rondale Moore, and Zach Pascal are available. Marquise Brown is on the board. Michael Wilson is on the board. Rondale Moore is on the board, and every time I hear Zach Pascal's name, I think about the $50,000 I did not win by not rostering him in the fucking Super Bowl lineup that I had. I had Jalen Hurts a captain. I had Mahomes. I had Brown, Smith, Chiefs D. I had 5. Perfect. And for some dumb fucking reason, I had Ronald Jones in that fucking. No, it wasn't Ronald Jones. It was Melvin Gordon III. I put that in. It wasn't optimized. I was doing all my lineups last minute. I put in a third string running back. I didn't even look at Zach Pascal. And Zach Pascal and his 4 fucking 5 6 points was a $50,000 lineup. This is all I do is lose money. Oh, god damn it. I have a heart attack thinking about it. Did the same thing with the Donald Parham fucking junior lineup. How many 5 or 6s do we all fucking have? Oh, this fucking game. What do we do to ourselves here? Because it's life changing money. You gotta do it. Estridge, Mack, Young, Winston, Johnson, Bichella, Keith Sekovich, Smith, Clement, Whitehart, Lindsay, all the way up to Thompson. Cody Thompson signed from the practice squad to the roster Wednesday. With Derek Young still on injury reserve and the Estridge still suspended, the Seahawks saw to it to bring Thompson fully on board ahead of Week 7 versus Arizona. Barring an injury to one DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, or Jackson Smith Najiba, nearly all of Seattle's targets are accounted for anyway. That's 2 for Metcalf. Lockett's on the board. And 2 for Najiba. Oh, god damn it. All I think about is that 50 grand fucking Super Bowl. Oh. Zach fucking Pascal. Dallas holding his lone target for -1 yard Sunday, and the Seahawks lost to the Bengals. Dallas took the field for just 4 of the Seahawks' 74 snaps on offense, with starter Kenny Walker and Zach Carbonet handily outpacing him in playing time. Both Walker and Carbonet should remain the clear-cut top two options out of the backfield while they're healthy, limiting Dallas to little more than spot duty out of the backfield. Even though the Seahawks don't have much of a need for him on offense, Dallas should continue to avoid the inactive list due to his status as the team's kick and punt returner. So Kenny Walker is on the board, and Zach Carbonet is on the board. Oh, fuck you, Zach Pascal. See, why is there news on him with the Q next to him? I don't see. Is the news on James Conner? No, it's all old. Anything new on these fucking guys that I have to look at? No, good. Suspended, injured reserve. So we read Dallas, Connor, Thompson, Swain. Yes, it's old news on these guys. But they give me new news on this. This fucking guy will haunt me the rest of my life. This fucking guy haunts me the rest of my goddamn life. Zach Pascal is questionable for Sunday's game in Seattle. Pascal followed coach Jonathan Gannon from Philadelphia to Arizona in the offseason, but he's seen sparse usage in the Cardinals' offense, getting at least 25% of the offensive snaps in 2 of 6 games. His output thus isn't much of a surprise, and Pascal may now be in danger of missing this first contest of the campaign after failing to practice in any capacity this week. Fuck you. Fuck you, Zach Pascal, you hunt. Colby Parkinson caught 3 of 4 targets for 16 yards in Sunday's loss to the Bengals. Parkinson handled 44% of the offensive snaps, finishing slightly ahead of both Will Dissly and Noah Fant. The 6'7" tight end has averaged 31.2 offensive snaps per game this season. He has leveraged that usage into 9 catches on 14 targets for 103 yards and no touchdowns in 5 games. It's 2 for Dissly, 2 for Fant. Will Dissly found his lone target for a 4-yard reception in Sunday's loss to the Bengals. The Seahawks continue to run a 3-man timeshare at tight end that limits the fantasy ceiling of Dissly as well as Fant and Parkinson. The playing time among the trio broke down as evenly as possible Sunday, with Parkinson leading the group with 33 snaps on offense, while Dissly and Fant were narrowly behind. So Parkinson and Fant. 3 for Fant, 2 for Colby. Jake Bobo recorded 43 yards on 2 catches on Sunday's loss to the Bengals. Bobo slotted in as the number 4 wide receiver in this matchup, but he still managed to post a 33% snap share. The undrafted rookie turned in the best day of his career in the losing effort. As long as DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith-Njigba are upright, Bobo won't be a consistent fantasy contributor. However, he's worth keeping an eye on if injuries surface ahead of him on the depth chart. That's 2 for Lockett. That's 3 for Metcalf. That's 3 for Jackson Smith-Njigba. Damian Williams reverted to the practice squad Monday. In the wake of James Conner's IR stint, Arizona's backfield was in some flux, but Williams was elevated from the practice squad ahead of Sunday's game at the Rams to provide some veteran experience. While Keontae Ingram got the start and most touches, and Amari DiMercado had the largest snap share among the team's available options, Williams received touches on the majority of his plays, 8 of 13. Overall, Ingram racked up 51 yards from scrimmage, Williams had 44, and DiMercado brought up the rear with 17. Conner must miss at least 3 more games, so Williams is a decent bet to continue getting game day elevations the next 2 contests. So DiMercado and Ingram. Keontae Ingram is on the board. Amari DiMercado is on the board. Tony Jones Jr. signed to the practice squad Friday. Even though Arizona waived Jones just 2 days ago, they've agreed to bring him back on the team's practice squad. The Cardinals originally picked up the 25-year-old running back off waivers October 9th after New Orleans cut ties with him 2 days earlier. Jones has recorded 70 rushing yards on 21 attempts with 2 touchdowns this year, and he'll give Arizona even more running back depth with James Conner missing time. Well, good for you, pal. Trey McBride gathered in 4 of 5 targets for 62 yards during Sunday's loss to the Rams. McBride tied for the team lead in receiving yards with rookie wideout Michael Wilson, and also matched tight end Zach Ertz in terms of targets. One surprising development was McBride getting more offensive snaps than Ertz in a game for the first time this season, which may have lended itself to the latter's sparse 222 receiving line. McBride will look to build on the performance this coming Sunday versus a Seattle defense that has surrendered the 4th most yards per catch to opposing tight ends in 2023. Zach Ertz is on the board. Seahawks defense is on the board. Emari Demercado rushed twice for 11 yards and secured his only target for 6 yards in the Cardinals' loss to the Rams on Sunday. The rookie was expected to share the majority of the backfield work with Keontae Ingram in the Cardinals' first game without James Conner. But Demercado saw veteran Damian Williams fill that role while logging 8 carries and recording a catch on his only target. Ingram and Williams combined for a solid 76 yards on 18 carries and an additional 19 yards on 3 receptions. So it's likely the pecking order of the ground attack remains the same for a tough Week 7 road matchup against the Seahawks' considerably improved run defense. 2 for the Seahawks defense. 1 for Williams, 1 for Ingram. Keontae Ingram has 2. Damian Williams is on the board. Zach Charbonnet isn't practicing Friday and is listed as questionable for Sunday's game against the Cardinals. A 3rd straight missed practice suggests that the rookie is unlikely to play, even if the Seahawks are leaving the door open. DJ Dallas figures to step in as the team's number 2 behind Kenny Walker if Charbonnet ends up on the inactive list ahead of the 4 p.m. kickoff. Zach Charbonnet, which is what? DJ Dallas on the board. Cardinals D. Ladies and gentlemen, Noah Fant caught his lone target for a 9-yard gain in Sunday's loss to the Bengals. After producing at least 40 receiving yards in 3 straight games, Fant logged a season-low 41% snap share and finished with just 1 catch. Both Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson played more than Fant. The Seahawks tight end room is frustrating and will be inconsistent for fantasy purposes this season, as long as the trio remains healthy. So that's 3 for Dissly, 3 for Colby. Matt Prater netted all 3 field goal attempts in Sunday's defeat to the Rams. Prater accounted for all the Cardinals' points Week 6, striking true from 55, 32, and 27 during the contest. His long-made kick in the first quarter also doubled as his 74th from 50-plus yards, which extended an NFL record that he owns, per Darren Urban of the team's official site. After logging just 1 field goal attempt in the previous 2 games, Prater again was busy Sunday, marking his 4th occasion this season with exactly 3 such attempts, and helping push back into a tie for 17th among kickers in scoring, with the Dolphins' Jason Saunders. Gives a fuck. Hate kickers. Worst part of the fucking game. Stupid fucking kickers. Get out. Zach Ertz. 2 catches on 5 targets for 22 yards during Sunday's defeat to the Rams. Through the first 5 games of the season, Ertz easily outpaced the Cardinals' tight ends in terms of offensive snaps, but he played second fiddle in that regard to second-year pro Trey McBride in Week 6. McBride also outproduced Ertz on the same number of targets on his way to a 4.62-0 line. It's unclear if the flip in scripts is a sign of things to come for the duo, but Ertz now has surpassed 25 receiving yards just 2 times on the campaign. Trey McBride is on the board. Seahawks D. Jason Myers made both of his field goal attempts and his only extra point try in Sunday's loss to the Bengals. Myers converted from 55 and 23 yards on his field goals. The 32-year-old now has made a kick from at least 55 yards in 6 of 9 seasons as a pro. Through 5 contests this term, he sports 44 points. Rondale Moore tallied 4 catches for 30 yards and 3 rushes for -4 yards during Sunday's loss to the Rams. Moore's target total was a season high, and his carry count matched his most on the campaign. Having said that, he wasn't efficient with those looks on his way to his 3rd fewest yards from scrimmage in 6 games this year. Prior to Sunday's contest, he was averaging a robust 14.5 yards per carry. So he will likely continue to get opportunities in that realm as long as the Cardinals' top running back James Conner is on IR. Moore will aim to bounce back Week 7 against the Seahawks defense that has given up the 6th most catches and 3rd most touchdown grabs to opposing wide receivers in 5 games this season. That's 3 for the Seahawks. 14.5 yards per carry. Goddamn. Rondale Moore. Rondale fucking Moore. I don't really mention James Dubs, though. Jackson Smith-Njigba recorded 4 catches on 5 targets for 48 yards in Sunday's loss to the Bengals. Smith-Njigba didn't see an expanded role, as he now has 5 or 6 targets in 4 or 5 games on the season. However, he did manage an 18-yard reception, the longest of his career, to produce his highest yardage output in a game on the campaign. Smith-Njigba will continue to work behind both DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett in terms of priority on the offense moving forward, but it was encouraging to see him deployed in a slightly more aggressive manner. Metcalf and Lockett. 4 for Metcalf. 3 for Lockett. Clayton Tune, Driscoll, Drew Lock on the board. Active against the Bengals. Old news. Who's this? Holton Ayers, released from Seattle's practice squad Wednesday. Ayers was now been let go from the Seattle practice squad 3 times since the beginning of the season. The rookie undrafted free agent will now look to catch on elsewhere. Michael Wilson secured 3 of 4 targets for 62 yards in the Cardinals' loss to the Rams on Sunday. The fleet-footed wideout tied with Trey McBride for the team lead in yardage, although the latter got to the 62-yard mark via a meaningless catch on the game's last play. Wilson's performance was encouraging and represented a solid resurgent effort after he'd been held to a career-low 1 reception and 18 yards by the Bengals in Week 5. Wilson now has over 50 receiving yards in 4 of the last 5 contests, giving him some momentum heading into a favorable Week 7 road matchup against the Seahawks. It's 2 for McBride. Keontae Ingram rushed 10 times for 40 yards and brought in both targets for 11 yards in the Cardinals' loss to the Rams on Sunday. Ingram got the crack at the number 1 running back job with James Conner's sideline and put together a respectable performance on per-touch basis. The second-year back logged only 2 more carries than Damian Williams. However, the latter was actually more efficient by averaging 4.4 yards per tote. Ingram should be in a very good chance of retaining the solid role for the Week 7 road matchup against the Steelers, although Seattle's run defense has been stingy over the first 6 games of the season. That's fucking 4 for the Seahawks D. Damian Williams, that's 2. Finally, Marquise Hollywood Brown secured 4 of 11 targets for 34 yards in the Cardinals' loss to the Rams on Sunday. Brown, who overcame a midweek illness to suit up Sunday, led the Cardinals in targets by a wide margin, but his yardage total was the lowest since Week 1. Brown's inefficiency over his last 2 games stands out, as he's brought in only 8 of 21 targets over that span. Nevertheless, He remains Arizona's most proven receiver, and he could be in for a resurgent effort in a favorable Week 7 road matchup against the Seahawks. There you have it, people. What are our votes here? 2 for Ingram, 2 for Williams, 2 for McBride. On the Seattle side, we got 3 for Najiba, 3 for Fant, 3 for Disley, 3 for Colby, 4 for DK Metcalf, 3 for Lockett, 4 for the Seahawks D. A lot of all this sounds like garbage. If Metcalf's out, I like Lockett, Seahawks, and McBride. That's pretty much it here. Oh, Walker. Walker's a beast, too. Give Walker a nice little like. DK Metcalf. You gotta give him a like, unfortunately. He plays or he doesn't play. Geno Lockett gets a like. Not really. What did he read about? He doesn't done shit this year. Dobbs, Brown, Count Ingram, Wilson, Jiba. Seahawks D, we really like them. They kept getting brought up. Bring their asses up. Ertz, Prater, Fant, Cardinals, Carbonet, McBride, like. Williams, Bobo, we really like Bobo. They keep telling you Bobo's popping the fuck up places. Disley, Colby, Pascal, fuck Pascal. All right, the captains. 27 possible. No, no, no. Oh God, no, 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 no. McBride, yes. DeMercado, no. Carbonet, no. Cardinals, no. Fant, no. Prater, is this a kicker game? No. Ertz, no. Seahawks, yes. Myers, no. Moore, yes. Najiba, he could pop off. Wilson, ugh. Wilson, did he have a big fucking game once? Let's see. Kid went off for 26 once. Ingram, starting running back, yes. Marquise, yes. Dobbs, Lockett, Smith, Metcalf, Walker. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 possible captains. 5% minimum, 90% maximum. All right, gotta make sure we don't have any. Right, no things, 20 lineups, projection, optimal, 1 unique player. Let's fucking do this. Let's see what we get. 20 lineups, ladies and gentlemen. We got Geno as the captain of 7 fucking lineups. Walker 2, Seahawks defense 2. Everybody else gets 1 captain. Let's see what we got. Let's see what happened in the flex. If there's anybody we don't like. In the flex, we got Walker, Dobbs, Seahawks D, Geno Smith, Zach Carbonet. Zach Carbonet ain't fucking playing. Come on. Myers, Parkinson, Metcalf, Ertz, Brown, Williams, Neba. Refix that shit. Our fucking Carbonet ain't playing. Come on. Get your fucking act together. So they fixed it a little bit. We got Geno for 6, Kenny Walker for 3, Seahawks for 2, and everybody else gets 1. Let's take the flex. Seahawks D everywhere. Wow, that changes everything. Walker, Dobbs, Smith, DeMercado, Myers, Metcalf, Parkinson, Ertz, Cardinals, Brown, Smith, Lockett, Williams. All right, rock and roll. Let's take a look at these lineups. Dobbs, Walker, Smith, Brown, Seahawks, Parkinson. Parkinson getting the bulk of the fucking underneaths. I want to see the Seahawks defense lineups. Seahawks, Walker, Geno. I like that. Shit. Good shit. Who's that, baby? Go get him. Go get him, baby. Go get him. Breathe in and get a bit higher. You'll never know what hits you when I get to you. Ooh, I want you. I don't know if I need you, but ooh, I'd die to find out. Things we do to get back to the Great Lands, huh? Remember, kids, we perfect our skills and then go after the big fucking money. $1 million a week, or half a million in the showdowns this week. But there's 2 games in a row. There's half a million on Sunday night. There's half a million on Monday night. So fuck it, win them both. Get your million. May fate and faith decide your fortune if you should win. Blow your money right here on the Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. Peace, love, war,